Hey guys, welcome back. Today is the 3rd. This video is for you. This is Obom Bowen, author of The Philosophy of Success and Visionary Entrepreneur. If you've been watching the last 2 days, definitely you understand Sunday we talked about ANTs, the automatic negative thoughts, which tied into yesterday. Basically our habits, our attitudes, our behaviors, and expectations, and those things all come up to the starting premise to give us to become who we are. So now to move in a little further in depth into your brain, how it thinks, how it actually gets you to do the things you do, and when it starts to come to the areas of what you believe, when you start to change things, how it gives you what's called cognitive dissonance is what we're going to talk about a little bit here. But today I want to focus with you everything we've learned yesterday. If you haven't seen any of the videos, go back down my timeline or back to the last 2 videos I did on Facebook and you'll get it. But today we're going to see everything that you take in, all those bits of information that you get. The brain takes in and filters over 2 billion bits of information, over 60,000 thoughts a day. What filters all of that is actually called your RAS, or your Reticular Activating System. It's a little filter system that sits in the back of your head, so the base of your brain, that really filters everything that comes in. And what it does is it basically breaks everything down that you take in into 2 categories. And those categories is this: one of value and the other a threat. Right? So basically it takes information that it believes that is valuable to you, or information that is threatening to you, and that's how it starts to get rid of it. And how do you know how your reticular activating system really works? Well, it's really, or what filters or how it decides what's important to you, it's really the information that you focus on. So as I was saying before, the reason why you want to get rid of your ANTs, your automatic negative thoughts, the RAS really focuses on what you focus on the most, so it filters everything else around that. And when it does that, you basically start looking for what it is you're focused on. But the things you don't normally see are called scotomas, right? And what a scotoma is? Scotoma is actually the Greek word for blindness. It's like a blind spot. You can create a blind spot within you, right? So that is called a scotoma. So you have a scotoma over here blocking out nothing else you don't see because you're now focusing on this. It's like you can't look at my finger here and this at the same time. You got to find one spot to focus on, right? The information, when you start looking for it, say for example you bought a Volvo today, and then all of a sudden all week long you're seeing Volvos. You weren't seeing Volvos the week before. Why? Because now you have developed a blind spot before until you focus on it. So now your reticular activating system, which is fall in love with your brand new car, you start to see all the Volvos everywhere else around on the road. So that's really what happens. Now, you have basically going to what's called pre-cognitive dissonance and post-cognitive dissonance. What does that mean? Let's use this example. For example, pre-cognitive dissonance for me, what actually rendered me homeless living in my car was the old belief system I had, which tied into my beliefs, habitudes, behavior, and expectations. So basically, I believed in going to school, getting good grades, and get a good job and work for a very long time and be able to take something home and retire on 40% of what wasn't working in the first place. And then I got introduced to network marketing, and just like everyone else, I thought it was a scam and it was cognitive dissonance. Basically, dissonance is you feel uncomfortable in between behaviors, performance, and attitudes, and the things that make you up is when you start to have that inside. So when somebody gives you new information, you don't really want to learn and dive down into it. You're like, I don't know about that, and you step away. You're having cognitive dissonance. Now, post-cognitive dissonance of getting the information is you actually start to act and relate to the information you get and start moving, which will create a shake in you and your environment. But that's also what you start to see. The information that you now focus on, it comes at you a lot. It's just like Facebook uses analytics. If you're looking at this video on Facebook and maybe you're talking to a friend through chat or something about you want to go jet skiing or something, all of a sudden 2 days later jet ski shows up on there, because the folks that are doing analytics is just like the brain. You start to focus on something, it starts to show up and show up and show up. So guys, I wanted to definitely share that with you to understand this one simple principle. At the base of it all, that's the science of it. But I've said before in earlier videos, whatever you focus on, expand. This is just a scientific way to understand it. Your reticular activator in your brain only sees 2 things: threats or value. and you have to decide what's valuable for you to take you forward. With that, we'll see you in the next video tomorrow. This is Obom Bowen, author of The Philosophy of Success and Visionary Entrepreneur. Look forward to hearing from you soon. See you in the next video. God bless.